Deliberate or not, one thing is for certain, had this been a conservative,
the FBI would have already raided his house.
Viva Frei, former Montreal litigator turned current Florida rumbler. Now, the news of the day, the breaking news of the day, everybody wants me to talk about it, is a federal court out of Canada declaring Justin Trudeau's invocation of the Emergencies Act to be ultra-virus, meaning unlawful, unwarranted, unreasonable under the circumstances. I will be doing a live stream with John Carpe tonight. It'll be yesterday if you're watching this tomorrow, so be sure to watch that for the full breakdown. But no, today the news of the day is, did Alex Soros or The Atlantic issue a subtle, if not overt, threat to do the unthinkable to President Donald Trump? I'm going to let you in the comment section answer that question, yay or nay. Now, for those of you who may not know, George Soros, the man who is widely considered to be one of the most evil men in the history of the world, subverting American democracy, financing rogue district attorneys, prosecutors to go after Trump, to basically unravel the very fabric of American society, he's got an offspring, and that apple doesn't seem to fall too far from the tree. Although while George Soros is evil and intelligent, it seems that Alex Soros, his son, is evil but lacking on the intelligence.
Is obviously quite.
Well, yesterday, as at the time of shooting this vlog, Alex Soros tweeted out an article from The Atlantic, and the two images that appeared in the tweet reference to the article caused some people to suspect that it might have been an overt threat to assassinate President Donald Trump. Alex Soros at Alexander Soros, January 21. Last year, the crime and inflation crisis largely evaporated. So did the leading theories about what had caused them. And here you see two images, one of a bullet hole through glass and another one of a man holding some cash. First of all, on the substance of that article, if you want your brain to rot, go ahead and read the article. It's an amazing thing how when people stop reporting crime, crime goes down. When they swap out the basket of equivalents, inflation goes down. Yeah, people aren't buying steak anymore, they're buying chicken, therefore there's no inflation. There are three types of lies: lies, damn lies, and statistics. What's the other one there? Figures, lie, and lie. I don't know what the other one is. Bottom line, it's very easy to make crime statistics go down. Stop recording them, or even more creative, decriminalize things, and lo and behold, you solve the crime crisis, crime goes down. What's the solution to the inflation problem? Just swap out the equivalents so that you can tinker with inflation. It's all a game peddled by liars to conceal their wrongdoing. But set the substance of that idiotic article aside. If you look closely at the images, you might see something interesting, and you tell me if those who noticed it are stretching. You see a bullet hole through glass and a man holding cash, but look closely at the exact amount of cash being held in that man's hand. A $10 bill, a $20 bill, a $5 bill, another 10, and then two ones. That equals exactly $47. We all know that President Trump was the 45th president of these United States of America. Joe Biden is president 46, which means that if Donald Trump gets reelected again, see what I did there, he would be the 47th president of the United States. So some people are saying this is a message, a call to violence. Violence in one image as per the bullet hole through the glass, and the recommendation as to who it should be directed against in the second image, number 47.
She said, I love Vivek. I love him too now. I didn't love him when he was running, but I like him now. It's amazing the way you can like somebody when you win, right?
In fairness to Alex Soros, and yes, I do believe in applying the principles of fairness even to the spawn of Satan, he is just retweeting the article from The Atlantic. He doesn't have any control over the images that appear in the link to the article. Then if you go to the article, you see those images are in the article itself. TheAtlantic.com, The Great Normalization, and the illustration by The Atlantic, source Getty, and the article is by Roger Karma. You can't make this stuff up. My goodness, whether or not you think it was deliberate, even if it's by accident, that the author of this article name is Karma. My goodness, it's like the scene from that movie Magnolia. Surely this can't be a coincidence.
This cannot be one of those things.
But lo and behold, the selection of the images, the illustration was done by The Atlantic, so I went to look up that image of the $47 in the person's hand, and I did find that that image exists on the internet since at least 2010, but well before the events at hand.
This cannot be one of those things.
So in fairness to The Atlantic, it's not like they paid someone to hold that $47 in that particular order, but they did deliberately select that image of all the other images they could have selected
to illustrate the concept of inflation.
The aggregate knowledge of the interwebs being much more expansive than any one individual quickly picked up on this either deliberate act or incredible coincidence, and people were saying, whoa, what the heck is going on here? This seems to be an implicit, if not overt, call to violence. Laura Loomer put out a tweet in which she really did a detailed breakdown. She may have gone a little hard in the paint in her analysis. If it's a coincidence, what a coincidence it is, but my goodness, I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't necessarily agree with all of the points Laura Loomer brought up in her tweets, specifically because this image pre-exists the article at issue. The image exists on the internet for many, many years, so I'm not sure that a lot of her analysis could apply, but I don't think they picked this image by accident. But nonetheless, let's see what Laura Loomer has to say by way of analysis. Soros assassination threat against President Trump exposed. Additionally, further exposing how Alexander Soros just sent out a cryptic assassination hit on President Trump, John F. Kennedy was assassinated on November 22nd, 1963. The $10 bill in the photograph next to the bullet says, quote, "Will pay to the bearer on demand," end quote. That writing on the bill was replaced with the, quote, "In God we trust," end quote, in 1963. Alex Soros and The Atlantic specifically used this old $10 bill to highlight the JFK assassination. In fact, all of the paper currency in this photo is associated with political assassination. Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. Alexander Hamilton pistol duel with Aaron Burr. Andrew Jackson was the first president to have an assassination attempt against him in 1835. The two $1 bills are silver certificates. The silver is referring to Kennedy being on a silver coin as well as the silver bullet. The bills show as followed: 1002 50111. The fourth bill is a 10 upside down that spells, quote, "net," end quote. So the offer is $100,250,111 net. At Alexander Soros should be arrested immediately, and at The Atlantic needs to be investigated for publishing this. And then she tags a bunch of people. Now, when I say that Laura Loomer goes a little hard in the paint by analyzing the order of the bills, to the extent that we now know it wasn't The Atlantic that commissioned the photograph, rather they just happened to select it, we don't know what the original intent of whoever took that photograph was in the first place. But one thing is for certain:
The Atlantic selected it and used it deliberately.
So whether or not they did that with all of those considerations in mind, or the very simple consideration in mind, we're going to put a bullet hole in glass and pick number 47. They did it, they selected it, and the only question is whether or not this is all a happy coincidence or something more sinister. Now, do recall that when Gretchen Whitmer gave that interview on NBC, I forget the name of the show with that guy, she, in the background of her backdrop, had conspicuously placed the numbers 8645. And anybody who's ever watched a mob movie, anybody who knows anything about anything knows that 86 means to cancel permanently, if you know what I'm saying. Some dictionaries define it as 8 miles out, 6 feet deep. Everybody knew what 86 meant until Gretchen Whitmer put 8645 in the backdrop while giving an interview, and she denied, "I didn't mean to do anything nefarious to number 45, that being Trump, the 45th president. I was just saying we should cancel him on the menu because 86 means canceling a menu item," according to those who worked in the restaurant industry.
Last night at the top of our show, we made reference, and you became a target of the president personally, a lock her up chant targeting you started and seemed to be almost encouraged at times by the president there. You've already come under threat once. What does something like this do to you personally? I know how you're acting professionally here. I'm just wondering how this impacts your family personally. I mean, that's a lot to deal with.
You know, it's incredibly disturbing that the President of the United States, 10 days after a plot to kidnap, put me on trial, and execute me, 10 days after that was uncovered, the President is at it again and inspiring and incentivizing and inciting this kind of domestic terrorism. It is wrong.
What's amazing is that for the side that screams dog whistles, dog whistles, dog whistles, that sees calls to violence everywhere, they sure as heck plead ignorance when it comes to the seemingly apparent dog whistle calls for violence that they put out. And one thing is for certain: had this been a big political figure on the right, had this been a conservative, had this been anyone right of Stalin, the FBI would have already been at their door before noon, busting it down with stun grenades. What? That's how you bust down a door. You know what I mean. But that is the latest scandale du jour, or as we say in English, the scandal of the day. You let me know in the comment section below whether or not you think it was deliberate, done on purpose, or whether or not it's one of those cosmic coincidences. We are truly living in a simulation where it was all an accident. The author's name is Roger Karma, and nobody meant anything by this. This just happened to be the stock photo image from Getty Images that The Atlantic had in their possession that they chose to use for the purposes of this article. I dare say some coincidences are too coincidental to be coincidences, but what do I know? I'm just an idiot screaming at a camera in his car. If you like my content, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop a comment in the comment section below. If you want to support the work that I do, Viva Frei on Rumble, subscribe and share the Viva Frei on Twitter, vivabarneslaw.locals.com for our wonderful community where everyone is above average, but more importantly, get out there, exercise, eat healthy, talk to people in real life, and now you know your vlog. Peace out, peeps. Booyah!
Taking lunch orders, Mr. Reed. Anything?
No, thanks. Had so much for breakfast, I'm just about ready to pop.